everyone, I'm Darryl Nash. Welcome to Winchester Community Television's Winchester Fire Department, a video trilogy. Glad you're able to be with us. I've got some special guests with me, and tonight we're going to take a look at the 3 feature videos that have been produced in the last few years dealing with the Winchester Fire Department. We started with their new ladder truck. We went on to the high school mock accident, and we've just completed our last feature, the ice rescue. And joining me on the set right now, right next to me here, producer Tim MacArthur, been working behind the scenes in all these videos, and Captain John Nash. He's been in the thick of things with the Winchester Fire Department in front of the cameras. Now, the first thing we're going to watch tonight is the ladder truck feature. We did that well over a year ago, I believe. And what we did was, well, actually, Tim, let me ask you, where did the idea for this video come from?
Well, the town, as we know, purchased a new ladder truck to replace a very old one. And Captain Nash called you and asked to put together kind of a promotional video. This is what our new truck is. This is what it can do. And the idea took off, and we ended up doing a mock fire over at the Chronics building.
Right, and what it actually turned into was a very well-received video that was shown on TV 19 on numerous occasions. It was submitted to the Hometown Video Festival, which is a national competition, and it was actually shown on television during the break at town meetings. So a lot of people had the opportunity to see it. Now, John, let me ask you, how did the firemen react to being taped while on duty?
Well, Darryl, actually it was pretty natural for them. Firefighters here in Winchester train very much like you make videos. We start off in the classroom and, in effect, make a script for ourselves and decide what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. And then we move that out into the training ground and we actually perform the tasks. And much like making the video in our normal training, we perform these tasks over and over again until they're done in a manner that's acceptable. And the only difference between the way we normally train and making the video is we really have to make some changes for the camera.
All right, let's take a look now at that video. We'll see how it came out. It has a little artistic feel to it, and when we come back after that, we'll tell you why. So here, take a look.
Hello, and welcome to the Winchester Fire Department. My name is Captain John Nash, and today I'd like to introduce to you the newest addition to the fire department, and that's a 110-foot aerial ladder. The interest shown by the public since the delivery of this ladder has been pretty intense. We've had a number of citizens walking in off the street to view this ladder while our firefighters have been training in the use of all the equipment associated with this ladder. This vehicle was manufactured by the Emergency One Corporation located in Ocala, Florida. It's a 500 horsepower diesel engine, and it requires that amount of power to operate it through the hills of Winchester. The duties of a ladder company include many things. Among them are search and rescue, fire and smoke ventilation, forcible entry, extrication, salvage, and overhaul. In order to perform these many functions, a ladder is required to carry a wide variety of tools. These cabinets behind me all contain tools. In them we find the Hearst tool and its components. Although this tool has been with us for some 20 years in this department, it's near the end of its serviceable life, but it still continues to provide good service for the department. We also carry a wide variety of ground ladders, plaster hooks, axes, power saws, salvage covers, and other things required to perform the job. The most important thing carried on this piece of equipment is the 110-foot aerial mounted on top of the vehicle. This is able to reach heights in buildings up to the 8th story. Located in this cabinet is an electrical generator capable of providing emergency power at an emergency scene. The generator is portable so that it can be removed from the cabinet and left at an emergency scene while the ladder is freed up for other duties. Just forward of this cabinet, we find the outriggers that provide the stability for the ladder truck while the aerial is being operated. These outriggers extend out and down, and we'll demonstrate that for you shortly. Each one of these pads is capable of lifting the vehicle off of its suspension, providing the full stability for the aerial platform. Located next to each outrigger is a large aluminum plate. This aluminum plate is placed on the ground beneath each one of the jacks and increases the ground contact by a factor of 4. Moving to the rear compartment is where we keep our power saws. The saws are all portable, and very specialized in their nature. This saw is able to cut through 4 inches of roofing material in a very short amount of time to vent smoke and gases from a fire environment. At the rear of the vehicle, we find 2 ladders ascending to the platform where the operator of the aerial works, and also the controls are located here that are associated with stabilization of the vehicle in order to prevent the ladder from tipping while the aerial is extended. Also inside this cabinet, we find a range of specialized ladders ranging in length from 14 feet to 35 feet, and they include ladders with hooks on the ends to go over the tops of roofs in order for firefighters to work under hazardous conditions on rooftops. This is firefighter John Sarabian, and he's driving our ladder company today, and he'll be taking us out for a short ride, and we'll extend the aerial to its full length and give you a bird's eye view of how the aerial operates.
Winchester firefighters have a great appreciation for the town's efforts to provide modern and dependable equipment. Not only does this equipment assist in the protection of Winchester residents and property, it also creates a safer working condition for firefighters performing the most hazardous of jobs. This new ladder replaces one that was over 20 years old and in deteriorating condition. Here we see firefighter Sarabian, the ladder operator, has already stabilized the ladder and is extending it to the roof. This is a function that's performed at every fire and is trained over and over again to make certain that it always goes properly.
Charlie, 9 Paul. All right, 9 Paul, I have it set. By reporting what he believed to be an outside fire in the alley, your location. H1 on channel 2, portable to fire. 12, false call. 712-1806. Bravo base, you have the Bravo 900. Okay, we have that.
Attention engine 1, engine 3, ladder 1 and A5.
Respond to a building fire at the corner of Van Agen Street and Baltari Road.
understanding of how a ladder company works at its fire scene. And hope you'll stop by our station and take a look at the new equipment. And remember, make sure your homes have smoke detectors and make sure they operate properly. Good night now.
All right, the new ladder company, a feature on our first video with the Winchester Fire Department. Now, Tim, very quickly, interesting side note, artistic feel in that video, a little black and white, not by design.
No, actually what happens with the high-8 cameras that we use, they're portable, much like your home camcorders, and unfortunately they don't react to cold weather too well, and it decided to switch into black and white. And so one of our cameras worked in black and white and the other in color, so.
But you'd never know it when you watch the video. It's like it was meant to be that way. Mm-hmm. And were we not to do this special here tonight, we'd have never told you, and you would have thought it was our artistic expression. We're going to look right now at the mock accident done at Winchester High School last May 1996. It again, another well-received video, and took a lot of time and effort to prepare. The Council on Youth involved in putting the actual accident, the mock accident, together. The TV-19 crews were there and subsequently put together the mock accident video, which has been used at Winchester High School on their Substance Abuse Awareness Day. They'll be using it in the future for any needs that they have, and it's been shown on more than numerous occasions on Winchester Community Television. Let me ask John, how realistic was this mock accident? Is this really what happens in an accident scene?
Well, of course, in a real accident, the situation is much more confusing. Crowd control is very difficult. There seems never to be enough staff on hand to complete all the tasks you need to, and there's much more attention paid to the actual victims within the cars involved. For the video, some of the scenes were very realistic, and while others, because of the nature of the video, had to be a little bit different. But it was a pretty good representation of what it is like to be at an accident scene.
A large difference between the initial ladder truck video and the mock accident is that the mock accident was done in what we call real time. Tim, can you tell us a little bit about what real time is and how maybe the shoot was a little more difficult because of that?
Well, with the real time, what it means is what's happening is what you get. We have the cameras running, and that's all we have. We can't go back and we can't correct anything during that accident. With the original video, we could go back, change the shots a little bit because we had the leisure of having this all controlled. This, we had an audience and 4 cameras running to catch all the action to make sure we didn't miss anything.
So in other words, there's really no start and stop. It's just straight through, and if you miss a shot, it's gone forever.
Exactly.
Was it more difficult doing that? A little more difficult to pick up some of the shots?
It was, because we also had to worry about where the other camera people were. Otherwise, we're going to have a camera person in the middle of an extrication, and that's going to look very unrealistic. So it was difficult to stay out of each other's shots and just to make sure we caught everything.
All right, here is what came of the mock accident held at Winchester High School. Let's take a look.
It was just a normal summer day, and we were preparing to leave for a planned vacation that we had. We were going up to Lake Winnipesaukee for 10 days, and it was Saturday morning, and Gino and Brandy were scheduled to come up Gino was scheduled to come up the following day. He was originally scheduled to come up with us on that day, but because Brandy was leaving the following day to go to Texas with the family, he wanted to spend that evening with her.
They are the memorable fragments of the endless summer. Movies, concerts, ice cream shops, and yes, parties. Rites of passage and celebration of the annual coveted vacation days all come and gone with little incident. But on the rare occasion, those days end in tragedy. In the late 80s, eyes rarely opened to the risks that local youth take while away from parents' eyes, until one night in the summer of 1989, when tragedy struck here.
We received a call from the Metro Police that there had been an accident. We were told that he was taken to the Choate Hospital. I asked the police if it was serious. They wouldn't give me any indication.
Here on Hillcrest Parkway, just moments before midnight on a July Saturday, a carload of Winchester youth drove head-on into these trees and shrubbery, tearing the roof off the car and leaving a collection of spectators watching in disbelief.
The roof of the car itself was almost sheared off. You couldn't even tell what kind of a car it was, unless you saw it from the back. You could just tell the taillights it was a Camaro. Basically, there were quite a few people around the car, and you could hear people screaming and yelling. And there were people everywhere. I mean, everywhere. It was unusual for a street like that because it's usually a quiet, or relatively quiet street. But I mean, there were cars and kids and, I mean, people yelling and screaming, not just from the car, but on the street when they realized who it was.
At every accident scene, we end up having a very large crowd. And who knows, maybe they're looking to see, is that one of my friends? Were they at my party? Did they just leave? You know, that might be part of it too. Maybe it's not just morbid curiosity. Maybe they want to know, is that my brother? As I recall, my patient was not conscious. A couple of them were. There was a lot of screaming, a lot of moaning, a lot of asking for God for help. You know, everyone turns to God at the last moment, it seems.
And so, with rescue crews trying desperately to free the teens, word of this painful reality spread through the town. Gino Giangrande, the driver of the car, died shortly after the accident, as did his passenger and girlfriend, Brandy Smith, who would have been a senior at Winchester High School 2 months later.
When we walked into the hospital, we were led into the room where he was, and it's a scene, it's a sight that no parent will ever forget. It was horrendous.
Yeah, that particular incident, from the time I pulled up to the time I got back here, yeah, I could relive that immediately if you asked me to, in my mind. You know, especially the patient that I worked on. And tearing the car apart. I remember who was right next to me, you know, working so hard with me to do it. I can remember everything. The sights, the smells, the screams, just about everything, yeah.
I had nightmares. You know, it's hard. Yeah. But at the time, that's what happened. You have nightmares. I wasn't even sure that I wanted the job anymore.
While indications of alcohol were found in the car, speed of up to 70 miles an hour on a suburban back road was clearly the contributing factor to the crash, laying blame not just on alcohol, but on senseless, reckless driving.
Kids today don't seem to have a fear. They don't have a fear of almost anything. They think nothing will ever happen to them. They're out in a group and someone makes a comment and the other one picks it up, and before you know it, they're doing something crazy. And it usually ends up doing something crazy in a vehicle. And as evidenced by, since Gino's accident, there have been many, many others, not involving cars, hitting trees and losing control of the car, not paying attention. And in many, many of them, there has been no liquor involved. It's just reckless driving. Nothing will ever happen to them. They think they know their vehicle, and it's a weapon. They don't realize this. They don't realize it.
And he did love us. I know he loved us, so I don't think he would intentionally want to hurt us.
Right.
And I don't think any kid has a clue what a parent, all the brothers, the sisters, everyone, what they go through.
Right. As far as I can remember, the kids, I mean, they were, not only were they upset about it, but they seemed to carry it around with them for a while. I don't want to say that this accident changed an attitude, but for a little while, I mean, it's not like that anymore, really, but for a little while, people kind of paid attention to what they were doing. I don't think there were that many parties for a while after that. And I don't think it was just the fact that we were going after the people that had the party. I think it was just a shock, you know what I mean? I mean, 2 families were involved. These people had to know half the high school.
Well, of course, it makes you feel bad. You know, you don't have to be a firefighter who's at the scene or a parent like myself to appreciate the fact that a young boy or a young girl, in this particular case, one of each, is no longer with us. You know, that really makes you sad. These were young, healthy people 2 minutes ago, and now they're just gone. You know, it's pretty incredible that decisions that affect someone's entire life are made in the matter of seconds.
I mean, to me, it's just a waste. It's a total waste. They're old enough to know better, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah. I mean, they can see, they can read in the paper. I don't know if it's the old, it won't happen to me mentality or what, but I've seen a lot of them that's happened to them. And I'm sure all of them said that. Yeah.
Winchester remained devastated for months after the accident, remembering their lost friends and classmates and trying to make sense of a senseless tragedy.
Gino was a very loving person who just enjoyed life. Gino was active in sports. He played baseball, Little League through high school, hockey, youth hockey through high school. He played soccer. He even tried a year at football.
Why it happened, I'll never know. I'll never get the answer to that.
You get behind the wheel and you're making poor choices. It's a disaster waiting for a place to happen. And it usually does happen. You may get away with it maybe once, twice. People may look at you and say, I've done that many times. Well, the very next time they go out may be their last.
I know the people in that car didn't know what was going to happen.
I would say the only thing is if you're out, just think. Just think and use your head. And maybe that might save your life.
As I mentioned, I don't think a child in his right mind would pick up a loaded gun and point it at someone. Well, a car is basically the same thing. And unless you pay attention to the road, to the driving conditions, to the speed, something's going to happen. If you just get in a car and just do things recklessly, something's going to happen.
No, I don't like that hip. Put something a little more hip on there.
I'll do it, hold on. Keep your eyes on the road.
Oh, come on, I got it, it's fine. Come on, I can do both. Why don't you lean over and give me a little bit of kiss while I put these...
Tom, look out!
Engine 1, ladder 1, and 85, response from motor vehicle accident with entrapment.
serious accident here, multiple injuries.
E5's on arrival. Two-car motor vehicle accident. Dispatch one additional ambulance, please. Engine 1's on arrival.
What are they doing? Is she okay? Fire alarm has two motor vehicle accident. You have one additional ambulance responding. Also, ALS responding from Arlington.
Look at me. Look at me. Look at me. You have the right to remain silent. Do you understand these rights? Walk in a straight line. Touch your nose for me. Touch your nose for me. Now follow my pen. My pen. I am placing you under arrest. Under arrest. I'm placing you under arrest.
Back hurt? Back hurt? You lose consciousness at all?
E5 to fire alarm. Fire alarm. Can you notify the Winchester Hospital? We're on our way with two patients, one male, one female, involved in a motor vehicle accident.
We were at a party before the prom.
Just sit tight, keep your arms in your lap now, all right? Keep your arms in your lap, we're gonna help you, all right?
That was the mock accident taped in May 1996. It was seen in the fall and continues to be seen on Winchester Community Television as well as through the Winchester school system. And Tim, there is a future for this video in the near future. Tell us about it.
It's being submitted to the Hometown Video Awards, which we mentioned for the ladder truck video. Hopefully, we have it submitted in two categories. One is documentary on public awareness. The other is an informational type documentary. And so hopefully we'll have a ruling on it. I think June is the date.
All right. Let's take a look now at a more serious segment, is exactly how we've done some of the shots that we've seen in our videos. As you know, we include some signature shots that take a lot of effort and a lot of timing and a lot of preparation, and some things that the videos are well known for, and this is how we put them together.
If these fire department videos seem complicated, it's for a good reason. Planning any of these features can take up to a month before an actual shoot takes place. For instance, the early planning stages of the ice rescue began immediately following the mock drunk driving accident. Once the idea originated, the wait began for our main ingredients, cold and ice. When that time finally came, all plans were spelled out on paper. We chose one day to spend with the fire department. One day to shoot almost the entire video. First on the agenda, what we call exteriors, that is, all the simple shots having to do with the fire station or the apparatus. And atop that list, the hoisting of a cameraman into the department's bucket truck. Producer Daryl Nash got the call for the high-rise angle, a direct view from the parking lot off Converse Place. This was one of our creative angles for the ice rescue video. Each of the 3 fire department productions has included its own respective signature shots. For example, the ladder truck feature included this angle from the rear of the truck. It consisted of a camera and a tripod mounted on the truck as it drove from the station. The mock accident is known for what we call the runover. The shot is aptly named because this is exactly what happened. After careful estimations of clearance, the camera was placed in the middle of the road and the trucks rolled over. In case you missed it, here's how it looked. Back to the latest feature. The ice was well frozen on the day of our shoot, and therefore we had to carve our own hole in the ice, with the help of some very handy equipment from the fire station. When the time came to create the actual rescue sequence, the trucks headed to the town reservoir and began shooting. While they're out of the station, the firefighters remain on call, and timing is of the essence. If the dispatcher were to call, our production would be over. Immediately we broke into action, taping the event as it happened, and stopping occasionally to set up shots and change camera angles. Fortunately, we were able to play our script to perfection, sometimes adding shots along the way. Here's producer Tim MacArthur, working with fireman John Sarabian to subsequently create this eye-level shot. When the time came for the close-ups of the victim, a young stand-in took his spot on the stretcher, despite the fact that he never felt a drop of water. The afternoon ended abruptly, thanks to a faulty boiler on Manchester Road. That call sent the Winchester Fire Department into action, this time for real. We went into the action as well, following the ambulance with this shot, created by simply attaching a camera to the roof of the car. That's a glimpse at how these videos came together. Time now to see the result of all this effort.
All right, a look right there at how we put together the trilogy of the Winchester Fire Department. You saw some shots there of the ice rescue. That's our next feature. It's our newest feature, has yet to be seen on Winchester Community Television. It will be seen this evening. And John, let me ask you about some of the things we're going to see in this ice video, this ice rescue. A lot of toys, as we said, that you have out on the ice that you get to play with out there.
Well, here at the Winchester Fire Department, we do have a full arsenal of equipment that we use to accomplish ice rescues. We have dry suits, which allow firefighters to quickly don their suit while their clothes are underneath them and save time in that manner. And they do that while they're responding. We also have an ice sled that allows the firefighters to go onto the ice with the sled without falling through and be able to get all the way to the victim. We also have a life gun that'll fire a light line out past the rescue scene. They can grab and pull equipment out to them. It's very rare that we would use all of these pieces of equipment at one rescue, but for the purpose of the video, we did use pretty much all of our equipment except for the boat.
All right, Tim, let me ask you, one full day with the fire department, as we just saw that we spent for this video, can you kind of give us an idea of the agenda of this video, how it moved along, was it difficult to put together because it was an all-day affair?
I think actually the all-day affair was a lot easier than the previous ones we'd done. It was more time-consuming. We started, I believe, at 9 in the morning and didn't end until about 5 o'clock in the evening. We spent the whole morning putting together the exterior shots, all the preparation like response shots, had lunch, and then we went out to do the actual rescue. And so it was a time-consuming affair, but it was a good day.
All right, being seen for the first time, the ice rescue, the third installment in the trilogy with the Winchester Fire Department.
Attention engine 1, ladder 1, 85, required for a shelf falling through the ice at the North Reservoir adjacent to Albin Street. Engine 1, ladder 1, 85, respond for a child falling through the ice at the North Reservoir adjacent to Albin Street.
Joe Scarrett!
K5's off. A5 to C400. It appears we have one victim in the water.
shoot. Set up right in the back of the ambulance. They're picking them up now.
We want to thank you for being with us with our look back at the Winchester Fire Department video trilogy. I'm Darrell Nash. I'd like to thank my guest, Tim MacArthur, my co-producer, and Captain John Nash. I call him my brother. I'd like to thank you once again and keep an eye out for our future endeavors with the Winchester Fire Department. I know we'll be back in the fire station, and I hope you'll be here to watch what we have in store for you. Thanks very much again, and good night.